Hello, folks. Welcome again to another episode, another show here, Chuck Johnson Show, right here on the Letcher County Government Channel. And you know, since our last show, we had a lot of phone calls, and they were good. And people's even called my house telling me about the program, how much they enjoyed it. And we're just back to do it again for you. And if you'll remember on the last show that we did, I made the announcement of who my guest would be this time. And I am proud and honored, privileged to have a very, very great guitar player from Jenkins, Kentucky. His name is Adrian Hughes, and I've known Adrian all my life. And he comes from a big family of very talented musicians. And we're going to have Adrian on in just a little bit, and later we're going to have the Pastor's Corner again. And we appreciate those that called, and your comments mean a lot to us. We want to know you're out there. We want to know you're watching. And if you want to call, just let us leave a message or talk to the people about the program. Just phone 634-3250. And this is the Letcher County Government Channel, and we are so tickled to be here with you again today on this beautiful spring day where it's just tearing my allergies all to pieces. But we're going to try to do the show anyway. So right now, though, we want to start it off like we did the last show. We're going to go back to 1991 to the Renfro Valley Barn Dance, back when I had hair. And we're going to do a song that is very fitting with the times then and the times today. And the song is entitled, Welcome to the USA Today. Listen to it.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, back a few months ago, we watched our television sets as our nation went to war. And through the eyes of television, we got to see just a small sample of the destruction that war can bring. And I'm proud tonight to stand here and tell you that I live in the greatest nation on the face of this earth, the United States of America. God has truly shed His grace on us tonight. There's homeless on the streets of every city, big city crime in every little town. There's people making money off of Jesus, taxes dragging everybody down. There's politicians shredding up the truth, farmers getting pulled up by the roots, and pushers telling little kids that high's the only way. Welcome to USA Today. It's true we've got our problems, Lord knows we make mistakes. Every time we stop one, 10 others take its place. But you don't see those refugees heading the other way. So welcome to USA Today. But you know, there's 1,000 happy homes for every homeless. And opportunity, it still knocks on every door. Oh, our younger generation's really shining, much brighter than they've ever shone before. We've got the right to vote our leaders in. Thank you. We've got the right to vote them out again. And we're offering to speak our mind and not get locked away. So welcome to USA Today. Oh, it's true we've got our problems. Lord knows we make mistakes. Every time we stop one, 10 others take its place. But you don't see those refugees today. Oh, welcome to the USA today. And welcome to Renfro Valley. God bless y'all. And thank you very much.
Thanks, folks. I want to introduce to you today my guest, Mr. Adrian Hughes. Adrian has been picking the guitar all of his life, and you're going to find out just how good he is here in just a minute, but he has been nice enough to let me play rhythm with him. I hope I don't mess him up. So the first song we're going to do is called Bye Bye Blues. Hey folks, we're going to do a song right now that y'all are going to remember. I know I've heard this all my life, and I enjoy the song even today. It's called Cannonball Rag. Play it, Adrian. We're going to do a song right now that I really like. It's called Windy and Warm. we're going to do one of my favorite Merle Travis songs right now. And I've sung it all my life, but I've never been able to sit and sing it with someone that could play it like Merle Travis. But it's called I Am a Pilgrim. I am a pilgrim and a stranger, traveling through this wearisome land. I've got a home in that yonder city, good Lord, and it's not made by hand. I had a mother, a sister, and a brother who had gone to that sweet home. I'm determined to go and see them, good Lord, over on that other shore. Well, I am a pilgrim and a stranger, traveling through this wearisome land. I've got a home in that yonder city, good Lord, and it's not made with hands. As I go down to the river of Jordan, just to bathe my weary soul, if I could but touch but the hem of his garment, good Lord, I believe it'll make me whole. Well, I am a pilgrim and a stranger, traveling through this wearisome land. I've got a home in that yonder city, good Lord, and it's not made with hand. Take it out.
I'm going to pick you a song that I learned off a guitar player over in Princeton, Kentucky, Eddie Pinton. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You don't imagine it as a guitar picking song, but listen to it. It comes out real nice sometimes. classical music. And I remind them I'm from Letcher County, Kentucky, and we're limited on the classical music, but we do teach it in their schools. So this is one that I learned back when I was in grade school. Fifth Hungarian Dance.
Folks, we're sitting here today talking to Adrian Hughes. When I hear the name Hughes, Adrian, Larry, and Joel, and Kathy, Anna Ray, that's ones I know personally, and I know you have other siblings. But this is a musical family. To me, this is one of the most talented musical families to come out of Jenkins. And I am very honored to have Adrian Hughes with me here today. I want to welcome you.
Thank you.
And
Glad to be here.
we've done a little picking, and we're going to hear some more picking after a while. And we just want to talk a little bit. Let our fingers heal. Let mine heal.
Let them rest a
A
little.
little rest. But for those of you in the county that don't know, have never heard of you, why don't you tell us about Adrian Hughes?
Well, I was born in Jenkins, raised up down Birdine, went to elementary school there in Birdine, and of course went to Jenkins High School, graduated in 1965. 1965 wasn't much to do with Jenkins at that time, so I went north to find a job, wound up in Michigan, and worked there for a year or two, got drafted in the Army. In 1967 I went into the Army. Spent a couple of years in the Army and came back and went back to work for Ford Motor Company, worked there for 37 years.
Oh my.
And got the opportunity to retire in 2002. So I took that opportunity and retired and took that chance to come back home, come back to Kentucky. I always liked to come back to Kentucky and always had that dream of coming back and living in Kentucky. So I got back to Kentucky in 2002 and lived in Richmond. Moved down to Richmond because it was close to our family down there, and really enjoy living in Richmond. It's really a nice town. Met some nice people. Met a lot of guitar pickers in Richmond. I lived in Michigan for 40 years and never met one guitar picker. And I've been in Richmond about 6 months, and I had so many guitar players I had to beat them off the door. But and I've got been married to Pat Robinson for 43 years. Next week we'll be married.
43 years.
43 years.
Congratulations.
We got 6 grandkids, got 2 on the way.
6 grandchildren and 2 on the way. Now, didn't you tell me earlier you have a daughter that's out of the country?
She lives in Brazil. She's expecting in May. Actually, she's going to have my first grandson. The other one's her granddaughter. She's going to have the first grandson.
So they picked 2.
So I'm excited. I've already picked him out a guitar to learn how to play it. But she's in Brazil. Pat's going to go down there the middle of May and spend about 2 weeks with her. And I'm going to stay home and take care of the house.
Now, originally, when you play out at festivals and so forth, Pat is your rhythm guitar player.
Right. She
reneged on us today, didn't she?
Yeah, I think she told me she had a radio face. She didn't have a television face. So I don't know what that
We
means.
don't want, I don't want to know what kind of face I got. I'm sure Rick Hall will tell me.
Yeah, Rick probably let you know.
But,
Normally, yes, after, 35, 40 years, she watched me play the guitar. She decided she wanted to learn how to play. So I taught her how to play the guitar, and then I play 5-string banjo too. And I needed some rhythm for 5-string banjo, and so she learned how to play the mandolin. And actually has gotten really, really good at the heck of a, she got that natural rhythm. Well, she plays the piano, so she knows music.
well, now, excuse me, it's springtime, folks, and my allergies are kicking in big time. But when I saw you all play at Jenkins Day a few years, 3 or 4 years ago,
Yeah.
I was impressed. She's a great rhythm player.
Yeah, she's got that natural
And
talent to it.
of course, she ended up with a nice looking guitar too. Now, when you played, tell about the guitars that you played and then the one that Pat played.
I'm playing a D45 Martin. It's a 1995 D45 Martin. It's got electric pickup. It really sounds great. It's actually a D45 that used to belong to my nephew, Ed, which is another fine guitar player. And I've got a Super 400 electric guitar. That's the size guitar that Merle Travis played. They're kind of unique. They're a custom guitar. They only make about 35 to 40 of those a year. So when I retired, Ford Motor Company gave me a lump sum payment. They gave me a year's salary in cash up front.
Wow.
So you can guess what I did with a good portion of that.
Super 400.
Super 400. It's the guitar I wanted all my life, so I went and bought that Super 400 with it.
Well, you know, I hadn't seen you in many years since I was a young boy and down at Renfro Valley at a jam session. I see you there playing with other guys, but I didn't see Adrian. I saw the Super 400. and that's where my wife tells me this all the time, you know, you don't have enough guitars, do you? Stuff like that, but we love our guitars.
Absolutely.
I need a shirt. I'm going to buy me a shirt that says, love one woman, many guitars.
Yeah.
I've seen that shirt. I'm going to have to order me one.
Dad always asks me when I talk about buying another guitar, how many of those things do you need? And I tell her, guitar players always needs one more.
One more.
Just one more.
Just
See?
one.
And this is it.
Well, and I'm partial to the black guitar. Yours is black.
Yeah.
And
beautiful
that's
guitar.
what drew my attention. And of course, I was playing the black Takamine.
Mhm.
But then I turn around and I buy this black J200 Gibson. My wife says, "Oh, it looks like that other one you got." And I thought, "Oh, don't even say that. You know, you don't know what you're saying there." You know? But just talking about Merle Travis. You know where I'm going with this. Your sons. You have 2 sons?
I've got 2 sons. Actually, I got 3 sons. I've got my oldest son was born in 1969, and before he was born, I kept telling Dad, "I'm going to name him Merle Travis. I'm going to name him Merle Travis." And she says, "No, you're not. You're not going to name him Merle Travis." I said, "Okay." So when he was born, she insisted on naming him Adrian's, but I got to put the Travis in the middle. So Travis is his middle name. My second son was born. I says, "Well, I've got a Travis. I need a Merle to go with it." So my second son's named Merle.
So we got a Merle
I got a
and a
Merle
Travis.
and a Travis.
So you got that Merle Travis in there.
Absolutely.
He's
My third
sneaky,
son's
isn't he,
Forrest. I got the third son's name is Forrest.
Forrest?
Forrest, yeah.
Now, I didn't know. See, I haven't seen you in so long.
Yeah.
Everybody has children, grandchildren, and so forth, and I myself. But now, was there anyone in Jenkins area that influenced your music?
Absolutely. There's 2 guys that lives here in Jenkins. I haven't seen them in a while, but when I was growing up down in number 3 Holler there, I was about 10 years old when I started playing, 10, 11 years old. Slick Gay and Jake Gay, you know those 2 fellows?
Yes.
Just terrific guitar players. Slick is just, in his day, he's probably the greatest guitar player that ever was. And then Jake liked to play, he liked to sing.
Oh, I know.
And
We're going to have him here someday.
I wish
I'll
you
already
would.
talk to him.
He's an interesting character.
His grandson plays a banjo.
Yeah, I played with him. Anyway, their mother used to live just 2 houses down from us there in number 3. They used to come and see the mother on Saturday mornings. And they heard us play. And they would come up to the house. And actually, Slick would spend all day with us. And Jake would come and, the next Saturday. And I spent lots of time with Slick and Jake. And they had a unique guitar picking style that I hadn't seen before. And I was just 10, 12 years old, didn't really know nothing about style. But I listened to them, and they took the time to show us how to do it, show us that thumb and finger and how to do that. And once we caught on to that, they actually, I know what they was doing because I did it myself later on when I learned how to play. They was actually teaching somebody how to play so they could play with, have somebody to play with.
Yeah, right.
So we did. We had some magnificent jam sessions down there in number 3 holler on the porch. Just play all day. Just play all day.
Now, did you ever get to play music with Kenny Baker?
Played with Kenny once or twice. 1964, 65, when Kenny came back to Jenkins and was working in coal mines. He actually worked with Dad, and he come up to the house a couple of times and we played with him.
Awesome fiddle player.
Actually played with Kenny's dad more, Thaddeus Baker. I don't know if you know Thaddeus. Thaddeus lived up in Pine Gap.
Well, I knew Ralph, his brother.
Thaddeus lived in Pine Gap, and I used to mow grass on weekends, make a few extra bucks, and I had a whole route that I did. But Thaddeus was one of my customers. And I'd be mowing Thaddeus' grass, and I could see him on the porch. He'd be standing on the porch with a fiddle in his hand and a guitar, waiting for me to shut that lawnmower off. And as soon as I shut that lawnmower off, he was ready to play.
Thaddeus?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Thaddeus had to be my last customer on the route because after I got through mowing grass, I usually played with him for about an hour or two. And he was a great fiddle maker too. I think Kenny played some of his fiddles too.
Oh my. I'd love to have Kenny on here sometime.
Yep.
I'd like to get Kenny into the Jenkins Homecoming Days Festival.
Kenny
also
lives in Goodlettsville, Tennessee. I seen him a couple of years ago at a festival down in Wilmore.
Well, I'm gonna have to
Got an
look him up.
opportunity to play with him and talk to him then.
I know him, and when I see him, he knows our family. He knew my dad. My dad, when Kenny went to work in the mines, of course, the local union here, my dad was president of the local, my dad was one that swore him into the union.
Yeah.
And so he would ask about my dad and my brothers Frank and George. He remembered them.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I was too young, but when he'd see me at the Ralph Stanley Festival, he knew then who I was.
Yeah.
But to sit down and play music with him, that's still a big desire with me. Now, you're talking about seeing all these musicians at Richmond, which is just, 20 miles up the road from Renfro Valley.
Yeah.
So did you ever do any playing at Renfro Valley?
Not much. I played at the old barn down there a couple of times. I got an opportunity to go down to that homecoming that I'd seen you at. I played down there a couple of times. That's about the only thing I've done down at Renfro Valley.
It's a great place to play.
It is. I love it.
I like the atmosphere, and I like the fact that you can go there and you're going to hear good, clean, decent music. You know, you're not going to hear the garbage that's out there today.
Yep.
And they're very picky. When I went to work down there, they were very picky, and I said, you don't have to worry about that, I'm picky too. Because I had never really sang anything other than gospel music. And the songs that I did sing, the secular songs, was at home with my brothers. But then that was the first place in public. But now, you're talking about Swanee Cornett.
That's one Cornett.
He was a lead guitar player at Renfro Valley when I first started down there.
Yep.
Or did some guest spots before Glenn Thompson. But you get to play with him much?
I play with Swanee every now and then. Down in Berea, they got a standing Friday night jam session, and
I need to take notes.
It's a jam session for thumb pickers, Chet Atkins players, and Swanee's usually there, and that's where I see him at.
I'll come
There's a whole group of thumb pickers down there in Berea. They call it thumb picking here in Kentucky. They call it finger picking in other spots, but it's thumb picking.
Well, we know what you're talking about here. People in Letcher County, we got a lot of
They have a
thumb
big
pickers.
jam session down there every Friday night, and I go down there sometimes.
Now, did you ever go down to Nashville?
Never had the opportunity.
Did you have the desire?
Yes, sorta. I was busy raising kids and making money and trying to survive.
That gets in the way,
And I heard a lot of horror stories about guitar players starving to death in Nashville. So I decided that I would play music at home. I play a lot of music at church, and I didn't do a lot of professional playing until I retired. I played more in the last 8-9 years than I did in the last 40. Because I worked 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. You know how it is in the auto factory. You know? But I did that a lot. But now since I've retired, I've had an opportunity to do a lot of playing. Like I said, I met a lot of people. There's an old retired bluegrass picker there in Richmond by the name of Nelson Young. Nelson originated the Country Bears for Disney. And he worked at Disney for about 12, 15 years as a country bear, and he traveled all over. And he's a terrific bluegrass picker and singer. So I met him when I went to Richmond, and he knew a lot of people. So I've met a lot of pickers down in Richmond, but it's given me the opportunity to do a lot of playing.
Now, from experience, I have pictures of my brother George when he was in the Army. No matter where he went, where he was stationed, he always found him a band.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Actually, I was in the 7th Infantry Division, and I worked in division headquarters. And there was a general there that his office was in that division headquarters, and he was from Alabama. And he heard me playing one day. I was had a guitar there, and he got me hooked up with a group in the NCO clubs, or Officers Club. And we traveled. We had a guy that played the piano like Floyd Kramer. We had a guy sung like Leroy Van Dyke. And this general actually got me a guitar. I didn't have a decent guitar. And he set us up with Officers Club, and we traveled around Korea, from Seoul northward to the DMZ. We did lots of programs, lots of music, and got an opportunity to do a lot of picking overseas.
That's a good experience.
Yeah, it was.
I'll have to blow up a picture that, enlarge a picture that I have of my brother George and his band in Germany. I love that picture. And man, those guitars, if you could just have those guitars from back then.
Yeah.
I think it was 1940. No, George isn't that old. I can say that because George is here with us today.
Yeah.
But is there anything you want to add that you'd like to, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyone, won't you tell people that, give some information, if anyone would like, you're available for shows.
Yeah,
concerts.
I do concerts, I do festivals. I'm available. I'm a one-man show. Well, Pat goes with me. She plays the rhythm, but I do all kinds of festivals. I do street things out in Paducah. 2 or 3 times a year I go to Paducah and do street festivals. And if you would like me to come and play for you, and like me to do a show, you can give me a call down in Richmond, 859-248-0620. I also have CDs available. If you'd like a CD of strictly the guitar picking, you can give me a call on that number there, and I can fix you up.
I have those. I have 2 of your
You got 2 of
CDs.
those? Yeah.
They're great. They're fantastic. I did leave out one question.
What's that?
I forgot. See, when I get in here, I get wrapped up in. I asked you earlier about your influence here in Jenkins. What about your musical heroes?
Of course,
World
my number one music hero is Merle Travis. I named my sons that. He's an interesting study. Merle Travis was. He was a great guitar player. He had no confidence in himself, and he always suffered from stage fright. Unbelievable. The greatest guitar player in the world suffered from stage fright. But he was one of my heroes. Chet Atkins, of course. And here recently, I mentioned Eddie Pennington a while ago. Eddie Pennington lives out in Princeton, Kentucky. He plays just like Merle Travis. You can't tell the difference when you hear him play. He's the guy that plays the theme song for Kentucky Afield. Eddie Pennington is.
I've heard that.
I had an opportunity to meet Eddie. I've had an opportunity to do a program with him. I met him over at the Kentucky Folk Festival in Frankfort, Kentucky, about 3 or 4 years ago. And that Kentucky Folk Festival, if you folks have never been to the Kentucky Folk Festival, It's in Frankfort, Kentucky, on the old state grounds there where the Capitol was.
The old county.
They do it every other year, and they have music from all over Kentucky. And
Will they have it this year?
I think this is the year that
What
they do
month?
it. In September.
September.
It's 1st of September. There's a contingency from the Calvin School over there.
Mhm.
They bring a whole group of kids over there, and they play and sing. But I met Eddie down there, and he invited me to do a program with him. And Eddie and I did a program right on the Kentucky River. And the stage was backed up to the Kentucky River, and we did an hour program, just guitar picking, me and Eddie.
Oh, my.
But Eddie's a great guitar player, great fellow. And that Kentucky Folk Festival, like I said, is just a great place to go and hear all kinds of different music from the state, all over the state of Kentucky.
Do you ever go down to up to Lexington to the Kentucky Theater when they have the wood songs?
Yeah, I've been there several times. I was up there to see Rhonda Vincent not too long ago. And,
I had to work. I couldn't.
yeah, I've seen her a couple of times there. But I thought about trying to get booked into there. The guy said you don't have to be famous, you just have to be good.
Mhm.
But I haven't really
I think you're good in that.
I haven't really followed up on trying to get on. I think I could do it, but
I went down
haven't.
and saw Tom Bresh.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah,
the guitar he has.
yeah.
And my daughter Carmen was impressed with his picking. She went with me, and he gave her his thumb pick.
Is that right?
And she still cherishes that, you know,
Uh-huh.
because she remembers that. And he was just very down to earth, and he reminded me so much of Merle.
Yeah.
You know. And Tom Bresh, for those that don't know who I'm talking about, that is Merle Travis's son. And I want to go down there to see Tommy Emmanuel.
Yeah,
Have you seen him?
He's quite a picker from Australia.
Yes.
And Chet Atkins kind of took Tommy Emmanuel under his wing and mentored him a little bit and got him into the music scene here in America. He's a great guitar player.
Have you been up to see him?
Not yet.
I want to go.
Great guitar.
Next time he's in town, maybe you and I can go down and
That'd be
just
great.
sit and just.
They have a Chet Atkins Appreciation Convention in Nashville, Tennessee, every July, and I think it's for a whole week. And
You
if
know,
you ever get the opportunity to go there, all the pickers congregate from all over the world.
Mark Knopfler, I bet. so,
Mark,
too.
everybody's there
Yeah.
that can play
Steve Warren.
thumb picking.
Yeah.
They're all there. But that's just a great time there too.
Adrian, it's been great having you here. I've been excited. I've been looking forward to this for so long, because when we started doing this show, names started coming into my head of who do I want. And, you know, the concept of this, of featuring people from Letcher County. Now, of course, being from Jenkins, I had to have one of my guitar heroes, which is you, to be here. And thanks for letting me pick with you, too.
Oh, it's fun.
And
Yeah.
will you come back again sometime?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Glad to.
those of you that want to contact Adrian, you can reach him at 859-248-0620. And he will come and pick and grin for you. And I think when he opens up his book, he can sing probably 24 hours and never sing the same song twice, or play the same song twice. But is there anything else you want to add?
I'd just like to take an opportunity to thank you and Letcher County Television for inviting me to come down, give me an opportunity to come back home, see all the folks, and do a little picking. It's always fun and exciting to come back to Jenkins, and I just thank you for the opportunity and give me a little exposure and maybe meet some new people. That's what music is about, meeting new people.
That's right.
Open doors and meeting new people.
I live for the third week in August
Yeah,
to come back home for the Jenkins Homecoming Day Festival.
absolutely.
And I want to put a little pressure on the committee right now. Adrian wasn't there last year, and I questioned that, because I even contacted you
Yeah.
and said, when you come to Jenkins for the festival, can we get together and do something together? And you said I wasn't booked. So then I called the committee. I started, why? You know, this is Jenkins, you know. So I'm going to put a little pressure on the committee members right now. We want Adrian back for the Jenkins Homecoming Days Festival of 2011, which is 26
25th, 26th, and 27th of August. And I hope I'm right. If not, we'll correct it when we come back. But Adrian, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And come back and see us again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We're here today with our Pastor's Corner segment of the program. And today, my guest is Brother Harold Dean Kinser, pastor of the Millstone Methodist Church. And I want to welcome you, Brother Harold.
Good to be here. Really good to be here.
And on this spring day where the allergies are just absolutely tearing me all to pieces. And, but we want to introduce you to those in the county that I don't know if anybody in the county don't know you. I really don't.
That's good. That may be good in one way and bad in another, you know.
Well, I want to say right up front, I have known this man pretty much all my life. Since I was a teenager, 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And I have never been around a man that I have as much confidence in as a minister, a man of God, who stands firm on the word as Brother Harold Dean. And he has really been an inspiration to me through my life. And he doesn't care to lay it out just the way it is. And I love that about him. So I got to quit talking now. I'm supposed to be talking. You're supposed to be
Answer some questions.
Yeah. So why don't you open up and tell us about you, who you are and where you're from?
Well, you know, naturally, I was born and raised right here in Letcher County all my life. I've been here all my life. And I enjoy pastoring where I'm at, there at the Millstone Methodist Church. I've been there around 28 years, soon be 29 years. And of course, you come down and sung for us. And through the years, you know, as a young minister, when I first started out, I can remember you coming around with that guitar, singing to our youth and everything. And it's been a good ride. It's been a lot of joy. I've been serving the Lord about 41 and a half years now. And I knew your daddy, knew Israel. Of course, I went down to Brother Jack Whitaker's the other day just visiting, and I try to get out and visit.
That's my uncle.
Yeah, I know that. But anyway, they've just been a lot of good things in my life and my ministry that I've really enjoyed. And like I said, I love what I do, the visitation, the pastoring the church, and I've got a great bunch of people to pastor. And our church is kind of on the uplift right now. It's growing, and we started our children's church in our church, and man, it's been just overwhelming. And the kids are so enthused, and if parents would get enthused like the children are about church, you know, it would be a great thing. But we've just got a lot of good things going there at our church, and we're grateful and thankful for our church. And I remember when we first started pastoring that church about 28 years ago, you know, there was very few people there. Me and Judy walked in with our 4 children. There was 6 of us, and they asked me would I come. Their pastor had left and everything and resigned, and so they asked me would I come preach, and I did that Sunday morning. And me and Judy walked in there with our 4 children, and there were 7 other people there. So we had a grand total of 13 people. And they asked us to come back after that service that day. And that's been 28 years ago. They said, we ain't got no pastor. And would you like to come back? And we told them we'd come back. So that's been, and then they kept saying, would you come back? We still ain't got no pastor. And I tell them all the time, I said, that's been 28 and a half years ago. And they still ain't got no pastor.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
But I've enjoyed it. It's been great. And like I said, I was born and raised here in the county. Know a lot of people. Matter of fact, I just came back from a funeral. Richard Kinser's wife has passed away, and we was all close and went to school together and everything. So, you know, I just try to do everything I can to be a comforter and be a help to somebody in the area, in the community. So that's what pastors is for. We're servants for the Lord, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I enjoy doing.
Now, I remember when you worked for Bethlehem,
Right.
in the mines,
Right.
and then you went to for the highway department.
Last 14 years of my work I did.
Well, now, you know, I've talked to people that work with you. Now, if you want to get to know somebody, really, especially when a Christian or a preacher or someone active in the church, go ask people they work with. Now that's where you're going to get some mixed, a lot of times mixed answers, you know, or opinions. But everybody that I know work for the highway department there and with you on the road crew and everything, they admire this man and they speak very highly of you. And I say, well, you're not telling me a thing about it I don't know already, you know. And now the church, Millstone Methodist, for some folks on the lower end of the county or something that may not know, see, when the new highway goes in, you don't go the old route anymore. So could you pinpoint a little bit the road, the old road there, and where the church sits?
Well, you know, if you're coming in from the lower end of the county and you come up to the Maycane Fire Department, if you turn off that little road going towards Thornton and you just keep coming, then you come to the mouth of Millstone, and our little church is right there on the left, or as you start up in Millstone towards Garbage Dump up in there. Of course, we're right at the mouth of the holler. And on the other hand, if you're coming like from Jenkins or whatever, and you come down and go down to the Martha Jane Potter School, and when you get to the school, make a left, and you drive about 2 miles, and then our little church is right there at the mouth of Millstone. You can't miss it. It's a red church, big red window in front of it. It's a beautiful little church.
Yes, it is.
It's a beautiful little church in the valley, and of course, like I said, you know, it's real easy to find. But you're talking about working for Bethlehem, Chuck. Through the years, I've tried to live as godly as I can, to be an inspiration to people. And I've had a lot of privileges, such as I'm going to give you, for instance, and just talking about people we work with and everything. Just like, for instance, through the years, I worked with Doug Dammer here in Jenkins, which was our superintendent at mine 26, and I really liked Doug. We got along fine. He was super. He was a good guy. He was a good guy all the way around. And then, you know, I got the privilege of preaching his funeral. They asked me, so, you know, through the years that I worked with him, and just here about 3-4 weeks ago, Ed Harris passed away. He too was our superintendent at Bethlehem Steel. Of course, I got acquainted with Martha and everything, and so, you know, I got to preach his funeral. Then we had a mine foreman there, Carl Pollitt. So through the years, I've met those guys and worked with them. And I was always the little man. I was just a little general inside man. All they know me by was a number. They didn't know me. But there was a lot of times if we had a safety meeting, or we had a meeting like in the place where we had the safety meetings and stuff, Warnie Flint and them would come, have safety meetings, and they'd ask me to lead prayer because, you know, they knew that I was trying to minister and be a light to the community, be a light to my fellow man. So I do appreciate the people that, you know, that I have worked with, and I've always tried to work, and I want them to know, and I try to live that life through the years. That's 41 and a half years. So I appreciate that, but our little church is simple. There at the mouth of Millstone, it's a little simple church. It's country, but it's full of spirit, and it's very, very spiritual. And I hate to say this on television, but I'm going to say it. They call it the Methodist Church. It's a little bit of a mixture, but we have a good church. We do, and we have a good attendance. I believe last Sunday we had 156. Of course, we had 2 or 3 people baptized. And matter of fact, I just left the church a while ago, and we're having a baptizing tomorrow. So our church is building up.
That's great. That's wonderful.
So I'm excited, and I'm thankful and grateful for all the way God's blessed me through the years.
See, all through the years of my growing up, the first time I was ever in that church was when I came down to sing at that time. And that's been 10 or 11 years ago. But I remember the old road there. We'd go on Sunday afternoon a lot of times with Dad. They had a program at Wattsburg radio station.
Right.
And all the times that we would go by, I always looked at that little church just sort of jumped out at you. And I always thought, that's so pretty on the outside.
Right.
I'd like to see the inside of that church, you know. And I never did get to until I came down to sing that time.
Right.
And you have a talented church. There are singers in that church. Your wife, Sister Judy, wears that piano out. She is awesome and sings. I love to hear her sing.
Right.
And so then you have other musicians there that
Right.
Gary and Roger and just I should start naming names because I don't know all their names, but I know their faces. And you go in there and when the music starts, oh my, you hear the harmony. You hear people, they're not ashamed to just open up and let her fly, you know. And we fell in love, my wife and I fell in love with that little church. And of course my Aunt Naomi and Uncle Jack, they fell in love with that church. And it is a very warm church to go into. People will greet you and they make you feel welcome. And there again, I've taken over. I'm interviewing you.
That's right.
But do y'all have anything coming up this year?
Well, not really, just regular things that we usually have. I mean, we've got nothing right now, no revival or anything scheduled, nothing like that right now. We got sunrise service, I mean, not sunrise, just sunrise service for Easter, and I believe we got a baptizing that morning during the sunrise service, which is very appropriate.
That's good, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You couldn't find no better time to have a baptizing, and it's around a 70-year-old man. He said, I'd like for you to baptize me, sunrise service. He's never been baptized, but he did come to the altar and confess there, and that's, to me, that's a special event.
It is.
We got sunrise service, and after sunrise service, we try to feed everybody with just a good old-fashioned breakfast, We don't leave nothing out.
Biscuits and gravy?
It'll be there, biscuits and gravy and apples, and, probably a few pancakes, apples, and sausage and bacon. And so, anybody can come to that.
Fried bologna?
Fried bologna is just, it'll all be there, so.
I seen Hollis Bevins would whip me if I
You
played hooky on, because we always go,
Right.
come in for Pain Gap, but
Right.
those of you that are out there watching this, we'll bait them in with the breakfast.
Yes.
And
7 o'clock.
the sunrise service will begin at 7
o'clock,
a.m.
Yeah.
And we'll bait you in with breakfast. But, then you get to hear the message of what Easter's all about.
Right.
And now, I can sit here and so many good memories of being with you and hearing you preach. We need more preachers like you.
Yeah.
Some churches that I go into I have to come home and get fed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And churches away from here, they prepare all week for their sermon. And I remember, you sit there and I thought, what if God changed his message on that preacher someone? He'd be lost. He wouldn't know where to go then, But and then they taught. Some of their message is good, but to hear it straight as God gives it to, as the preacher comes and gives it to the man,
Yeah.
to deliver the message. To me, that's the best way to get it. But I do appreciate you being here so much and taking the time out today, and you've been busy already today, but you all came by and was nice, and maybe someday we can get you back.
That'd be fine, but I feel privileged and I feel honored to be able to be here today, and I thank you for asking me to come, just talking about the little church. The little church was built there back in 49 or 50 by the Southeast Coal Company. But anyway, it is. It's a little church that'll reach out there and grab you.
Yes, it
If you
will.
come to church, the Holy Ghost will get a hold of
Yeah.
you. So I'm real grateful and thankful to be here, and I appreciate you all doing this.
Is there anything else that you
Not
want?
that I know of, but I'm just feel real grateful.
I thank you so much.
I appreciate
God
you.
bless your heart, brother.
God bless you.
We want to thank Brother Haldane Kinser for being with us on the Pastor's Corner, and we're really not through with the Pastor's Corner yet, because I'm a preacher's kid, and I know behind every pastor there's a good woman. And right here is Sister Judy Kinser, Brother Haldane's wife, and I want to welcome you here, and I appreciate you coming in and being part of our interview today. So why don't you tell folks, I know who you are, won't you tell the folks that in Letcher County that haven't already met you who you are?
Okay, my name is Judy Kinser. My husband is Harold Kinser, who pastors the Millstone Methodist Church. I was born up at Doc Wright's old hospital at Seacoast. My mom and dad are Lon and Georgia Mae Fleener. We lived at Mayking for 14 years, and then we moved across the mountain over to Eola and lived at Franks Creek for 14 years. And I happened to be working at the clerk's office, the circuit clerk's office in Whitesburg, when I met Harold, and therefore we got married, and as you say, is the rest of the story.
There's the rest of the story. That's a good one.
So we're talking 4 kids and 9 grandchildren and
Wow.
1 great-grandson later, so God's blessed us.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Well, now, he mentioned the church and everything, but I think he left out some key points.
A few things. First of all, I want to say, you and I both have such a church background. The old Pine Gap Church that sat up on the hill, my dad, Lon Fleener, used to play with a group called the Johns Creek Quartet, which came from Harlan. And you were talking about how your dad used to go down and had a radio program at WTCW,
Yes.
at the old radio station. Well, the Johns Creek Quartet did too, and they came and they played. And I can remember going over there, and Aunt Darlene would have that little machine and sell drinks, and a lot of times maybe Claudia would be over there singing, and I mean people would just be packed out, and Lloyd Pye could be preaching, and so yeah, so it's odd that, and like I said, Dad has played at that church where your dad used to pastor that.
Pine Gap Rural
Oh,
Baptist
yeah.
Church. Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So we've got a connection through the churches and stuff. So that's a good thing. But going back to our church, we've just been blessed with an abundance of singers. A lot of times, if I do call somebody in, they'll say, "I don't know why you do that." You know, you got Gary Amberger, you got Roger Amberger, you got John Fowler that attends our church. You've got his father, Dan Fowler, that's an awesome singer. His mother, Jane, the 3 of them sing together. You know how that family harmony is. That is absolutely awesome. You've got Patty Baker, Patricia Bashirs, you've got me and Dean Eichert, you've got Cy Parrott. I mean, it just goes on, and I'm hoping I'm not leaving anybody out. But, and you were talking about our music down there. Well, you've got Gary Amberger on lead guitar, you've got Roger on bass, you've got, also Carl Parrott. God love his heart, I left him out. He's like 88 years old. It's Cy's dad. He opens the church house for us. He plays the guitar in the back, rhythm guitar. Dan Fowler does too. Then you've got Jim Pointer, who plays electric guitar. Cy Parrott plays the drums, and of course, me on the keyboard. And anybody that comes in and brings a guitar, they're welcome, or banjo or whatever, and join in with us.
Well, I know when I sang down there once, I used Soundtrack, and I really don't like using those, but when you have no band, you have to resort to the canned music.
Right.
You know, they call it karaoke, some of them do. But here, there was Gary and Roger, and then their brother had a little drum thing back
Yeah.
there. And I thought, hey, leave the Soundtrack in the car, you know. And I was so impressed. Of course, I've known Roger and Gary for many years.
They're awesome.
Very dear friends of mine, and I'm going to have them on here. They don't know it yet, but I'm going to get them here. And they're wonderful friends. But now the times, church times.
Yeah. Well, our Sunday school starts at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, and our church service at 11. And kids' church, we've got Sunday school for the children, and we've got adult class too. But the kids' church starts at 11 o'clock. So while we're having church at 11, kids' church is going on in the back. And they're having a ball back there. You've got great leaders. You've got John and Tina Fowler, that are working. You've got Ronnie and Tiffany Goins that are back there. You've got Vicki Parrott. You've got Jennifer Collier, and there may be some more that I'm leaving out. Joe Hollenbeck, I believe, is working back there. But I've never seen people who will pull up to the call when something needs to be done. And these people we just started this the first Sunday in March, and we've really had, and each Sunday it keeps going. We keep getting more kids in, so I'm thankful for that.
I'll tell you what, everyone that's watching, I'm sure that know you, they know you sing so well.
Well, thank you.
I think you sing very well and play the keyboard. We don't have a keyboard, but we're going to do a song. Let's play a song that I'm fortunate enough today to have my brother George with me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to play a song here that George and I helped you with on the guitars. So much to thank him for.
When I look around to see the good things that He's done for me, I know I'm worthy of them all. For His blessings He freely gives, I owe my life to Him, and I've got so much to thank Him for. And I've got so much to thank Him for, so much to praise Him for. You see, He's been so good to me. When I think of what He's done and where He's brought me from, I got so much to thank Him for. Well, sometimes while on this way I stop just to kneel and say thank you, Lord, for all You've done for me. Oh, and one day I'll reach sweet heaven's shore. Oh, please, just let me kneel once more, 'cause I've got so much to thank Him for. And I've got so much to thank Him for, so much to praise Him for. You see, He's been so good to me. When I think of what He's done and where He's brought me from, I got so much to thank Him for. Yes, I've got so much to thank Him for.
I hope you enjoyed that song as much as we did singing it for
Amen.
you. It was good. Now, your style. First time I came into Millstone Methodist Church and I heard you over at that piano, I thought, whoa, hello, you know, and what was that, Brother Harold? Methodist?
Methodist.
There you go. I won't even try to pronounce it. But I tell a lot of people that sometimes, I'm Baptist, but your style, who influenced you?
Well, my dad, he was such a prolific player. He could hear a song and sit down and find out where it was at, and start playing with it. And it takes me a little while longer. But he was my biggest input for me playing the piano. There's I've got 3 sisters, all 4 of us play the piano, and I've got a brother who is the baby boy, and the only boy, and the only thing he can play is a radio or TV, but all 4 of us girls play, so he's been the one. But you know, through the years, the music we listened to, just like when I was in grade school and high school, I was listening to the Beatles, and I was listening to George Jones, and I was listening to Buck Owens and Loretta Lynn, and even up to Leonard Skinner and stuff. But also, I knew what was going on in the gospel field. We were listening, Southern rock, you know. The next best is Southern gospel. Hey, they had some great music. I mean, and the piano player was awesome. Yeah. But by the same time, I knew what was going on with the Singing Rambos, the Happy Goodmans, the Florida Boys, and there was another group that I was trying to think of.
You remember Teddy Huffam?
Yes.
Oh my!
Yeah, and the Gems. Oh yeah. Awesome. So I had that background too. I loved the Southern gospel music as good as I did the country or the pop or the rock. I kept up with all of them.
I love it.
Oh yeah. My dad used to gather us around the piano and get us girls to sing. And he, you know what he'd do? He'd slap his leg in his and say, Lawrence Welk ain't got nothing on me.
That's right.
But before we go on any further, there were some more people that I needed to mention in our church. Like I said, we're so talented. Jim Pointer, who is our adult Sunday school teacher, he also does a fabulous job singing. Sherry Cook, she is awesome. She used to work up in Dr. Baker's office before she got moved down to Whitesburg. She's an awesome singer. Tim Amberg, Brother Tim Amberg and his wife Judy sing, and a lot of times there would be just a bunch of us, Cindy Honeycutt and Tiffany Adams has got an awesome voice. That's what I said, I could just keep going on, and I probably still left somebody out. But we have just been blessed with an abundance of singers.
Those
so
of
they're
you
so
left out,
talented.
they'll remind you Sunday morning.
Oh, they probably will.
They will remind
Believe it
you.
or not, I'm nervous too, so
you know,
sometimes you have a tendency to forget things.
I'm like you. I grew up with my older brothers, you know, George Jones, Johnny Cash, Buck Owens, Merle Haggard. And, you know, songs back then, you didn't have to worry about hearing anything bad.
No.
And, you know, God gave us the music. Mm-hmm. And I had learned what we call licks, you know, from some of those that I carry over into my gospel music.
Oh, yeah, and I left out Ray Charles. I loved him.
Oh, my.
Modern Sounds in Country and Western Music, one of the best albums
I've got it. I've got the old
Me too.
But, and I'll tell you someone that impressed me, and I we'll get back to, but back in the 60s, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
He had a gospel album out called In Loving Memories. And that is one of my favorite gospel albums of all time. Y'all hear him do I'll Fly Away. Oh, my. It's awesome.
I can imagine.
But we'll have to get you a copy of that.
Yeah.
But, I was going to lead into something else. Oh, okay. Your influence is there with the Rambos. I've worked with them. Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Wrote some wonderful songs.
And I sing a lot of her songs.
I do too.
I love her music. And but like one time here, I did the Amazing Grace to the tune of House of the Rising Sun. First time I heard that, the Rambos. And Dottie told the story of how they come about. So they're the ones that introduced it, that version of it. But people in the county too may remember you in another aspect. Driving or carrying the mail.
Oh yeah, I was the rural route carrier for the Jenkins post office for 20 years at Route 1. So a lot of the people at Jenkins, you know, like I said, I was born and raised and went to school at Whitesburg, so these people are now, I've got an extended family because I really enjoyed my people, my customers. I loved them. Would still be working if I could, but my body just won't let me.
I know what you're saying there. I tell you what, let's do another song. Let's go back and play them another song. And this is one of my favorite songs, written by, who did I say?
Roscoe Reed.
Roscoe Reed. And see, I had a mental block there. But, and I love this song, and you do a great job on it too.
Thank you.
In the Great Beyond.
river, and after died from his own brother's hand. Now the stream of bloody souls has swelled on Jordan, casting on narrow judged to stand.
In that great big arm, oh, in the land of Eden, I'll meet my friend who left his world so long ago. What a hallelujah morning, let the dead go back. We will praise and bless the Lord forevermore.
I have stood by you while they were dying. The hand of death would neither warm nor still. Oft I wondered what they saw while they were crossing, and who they met at the top of the hill.
In that great big arm, oh, in the land of Eden, I'll meet my friend who left his world so long ago. What a hallelujah morning, when we get over back. We will praise and bless the Lord forevermore.
I'm so glad that the way was made at Calvary. When Jesus died, was laid to rest in the tomb. In the grave he slept a while, then overpowering, oh praise his name, and believe in Lord.
In that great big arm, oh, in the land of Eden, I'll meet my friend who left his world so long ago. What a hallelujah morning, when the dead will go back. We will praise and bless the Lord forevermore. Yes, we will praise and bless the Lord forevermore.
In the Great Beyond, that was one of my favorite songs. I used to do that with my dad and my sister.
Makes it special.
And now when I sing it at Payne Gap Church, I sing it with Sheila Rose.
Yeah.
She's got a
Good
high voice.
voice, yeah.
Her voice is, I tell her she sings like an angel, and I think so. And you do too. Now, if you just turned us on, I'm talking to Sister Judy Kinser. Her husband is pastor of Millstone Methodist Church, Harold Dean Kinser. And I want to talk about something that is very dear to your heart. I know a little bit about the story, but I want the county to hear this. And this is a very precious story that shows me that makes me more proud to be from Letcher County.
Amen.
I mean, we have people here in this county that hardly make it from payday to payday.
Mm-hmm.
But when the need arises, when the occasion arises that they see a need somewhere else, they'll forget self and they'll come to the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that
for you to hear this. Tell us the story about Cameron.
I hope I can tell it without crying. Ernestine Flynn and I have been good friends for years, and I've always sung during the Jenkins days over here, sometimes down at the Mountain Heritage Village, and as part of the talent. We do some gospel or some country or some oldies, rock and roll. But this one year, Ernestine asked me, said, why don't you do the talent contest at Riverside Days? And I thought, I'd always said I never do one. But long story short, I've got a grandson, and his name is Cameron, and he's autistic, and he didn't talk, and we were sending him, or his parents were, to Charlotte, North Carolina, to see this doctor, and what they were doing, I won't go into all the detail, but they were trying to detox him and take the stuff because his body would not detox itself. And to say the least, the financing was, the bills were astronomical. So we were doing everything we could, and I got to thinking, because I always said I never do this. And I thought, the grand prize was $500, and I thought, Cameron could use that. If I could, but I encouraged John. John's married to our niece, John Fowler, and I knew he sang better than me. But I said, I want you to come and let the people get to know you. So I wasn't selfish in the thing, as far as I encouraged him. And there was 5 of us that were we worked so good together. And so we went, and the first night we sang gospel, and then the next night we were supposed to do like rock or oldies, whatever. And I was going to do Bobby Darin's Dream Lover and Brenda Lee's Sweet Nothings. But anyway, I got voted off, which I told my husband. I said, I'll probably get voted off because these younger kids, there was Taylor Combs and the Boggs Girl and Mikey Tolliver and them. And I know they had kids that they'd gone to school with and stuff. Here I've been working over at Jenkins. I was the oldest one, And so anyway, sure enough, I got voted off. And so Ernestine asked me to tell why I was even doing it, because I had helped being the judge. Like I said, I'd sung for talent shows and things for talent. But so I explained to them about Cameron and how he couldn't talk. Excuse me. So anyway, I got tearful when I was telling him about it, but I said one day, God, I'm going to hear that baby talk. If it's not in this life, it's going to be in the next one. So they went ahead and asked me to sing my song, and I started singing, and that first line in that song is, every night I hope and pray. That's about as far as I got. Somebody came down and laid money on the stage.
Wow.
And it was like, I can't explain it. People started coming, and they was laying this pile of money, and I just kept crying, and I thought I'm supposed to be singing this song, and this money kept coming in, and even one of the guys that was running the sound came over and put the money down, and he told me afterwards, and I was just so overwhelmed. I mean, I cried, my eyelids, they were swollen together.
Now, how much was the grand prize money? How much was the grand prize?
$500.
For the winner.
And and I was voted the first one off. And my husband's trying to tell me something. What is it, honey?
First $100.
Oh yeah, the first $100 Vernon Hall gave me. And so anyway, this money kept coming, and like I said, even the sound man told me afterwards. He said, I've never experienced anything like this, and there was tears in his eyes, and we just pull this money, and they just kept helping me pick it up, and it was bills, I'm not talking, and there was some $50 bills, there was a $100 bill, no, so I was just blown away. So that night, I didn't count it down there, and people gave me money as I was leaving. They gave me money. Now, we're talking about Letcher County, where you say, well, these people are poor, they're
poverty-stricken area.
But you know what? Something happened. I feel like the Lord just touched, and they opened up their hearts. And you know what? When we got home and we counted it, we had a little over $1,100.
Wow.
Now the winner was Taylor Combs won it, and she was a good singer. They were all good singers. She got $500. The only reason I did it was to get money for Cameron. And I felt like Elisha did with Elijah. God gave me a double portion, a little bit more.
And you got it.
And you know what? Cameron's 10 years old now. He still doesn't talk. He will speak things. He's a sweet child. He's a loving child. But you know what? Like I tell my daughter, I said, don't get discouraged. We love Cameron just the way he is. And God sent him to us for a reason. And we've done everything we can to try to help him. He's still taking, special classes and stuff and taking these therapy, as they call it, to get him to talk. But you know what? I believe he'll talk in his time. And if he don't, when we go home to be with the Lord, he'll get his ultimate healing. I believe that.
That's the
So I thank God for that. And I thank God for you people in Letcher County. Some of you, I didn't even know your names, but I want you to know how much you impressed me that night when you came, if it was $1, if it was $5, whatever it was. I want to thank you right now from the depths of my heart for doing that.
Amen.
Really touched me.
I love that. I wanted to, Rick had shared that story with me, a condensed version, but I wanted to hear it. I thought, man, I want to hear more about this. And, Letcher County is my home. I've been away for 19 years, and I've never been satisfied.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So you have to come home to get fed, and you have to come home sometimes to be with the people that you grew up with, people that you've worked with, church family.
Yeah.
And, I walk down the city of Jenkins, and used to I knew everybody, or everybody knew me.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're gone that long, you have a new generation coming up.
Right.
But, there's still people that know me, and they relate me to Pain Gap Church,
Mm-hmm.
And, but that is Letcher County, the heart that's down here.
Absolutely.
And these people. That's why I get up this morning and drive 3 hours to come here to do this program, because I love Letcher County.
Mm-hmm.
I love my home people.
Amen.
These are my people. And I love them to death. They support us at the Jenkins Homecoming Days Festival, the Mountain Heritage Festival in Whitesburg last year. They come out for that. We just have a good time, good, clean fun. And, if we throw a gospel song in there to let them hear where we're coming from, that's all good too. But I want to thank you for being here, for sharing that with us. And before we leave, and do one last song for the people, is there anything else you need to?
A couple of things. We have Sunday night service at our church. It starts at 6 o'clock. And on Wednesday night, we have prayer meeting at 7. If anybody doesn't have a home church, you're welcome to come and be with us. Also, I've had the privilege, I was born and raised in Letcher County, and I never had to leave. So I thank God for that. And I know we're fixing to do the other song. I'm going to play that song. And this song my mama used to sing. I lost my mom 2 years ago, but she was a real inspiration to me. My mom was the rock in our family. And her mother, my grandmother, Martha Mullins from over at Clipwood, fine, upstanding Christian woman. My grandma Fleener was a good Christian woman. And so I've had a lot of good Christian influences. And but my mom used to sing a lot of songs in church, but she never sang with music. And this song that we're about to do is one of them. So every time I sing it, I think of her.
It's one of my favorites.
I love
it. And it's called, Is My Lord Satisfied With Me? Thank you, Sister Judy.
Thank you.
God bless you.
One glorious day, Jesus came and made me whole. He so completely satisfied my soul. Now as I face my dark trouble this morning,
Well, this fellow sitting here beside me, he was kind enough to throw a little rhythm guitar in there with us when we was singing with Sister Judy. And I guess I have to let him sing one now or pay him. So I guess I'll just get by cheap today and let him sing. This is my brother, George Johnson. And he is one of my influences. So, and we grew up on the old traditional country.
That's right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Kick it, Leon.
The light's sort of bad in here. Well, just don't. Okay.
I got my hair straightened out. I hoped it would be.
It's straight, all right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Well, just because I asked a friend about her, and just because I spoke her name somewhere, just because I saw her then when all the dreams were, well, she thinks I still care, just because I haunt the same old places, well, the memory of her lingers everywhere, just because I saw her then when all the dreams were, well, she thinks I still care. But if she's happy thinking I still need her, then let that silly notion bring her to me. Oh, how could she ever be so cruel? Oh, where did she get such an idea? Just because on the same old places, with the memory of her lingering everywhere, just because I'm not the happy guy I used to be, well, she thinks I still care. Oh, she thinks I still care.
We want to thank our guests for being with us today, Adrian Hughes, and in our pastor's corner, Brother Harold Dean Kinser and his wife Judy, and my brother George.
Hey,
Wave at him, George. Say hi, George.
Hi there, everyone. I enjoyed it.
Okay. And I also want to thank the Letcher County Government Channel right here in Letcher County, Kentucky, my home county, and that I'm very proud of. And, you know, we have a lot to be thankful for. We live in a free country, and we have men overseas that are sacrificing their time away from families, and some of them the ultimate sacrifice, that we have this freedom for us to have this. And please don't forget them in your thoughts and prayers. I feel that we live in the greatest nation on the face of this earth, just like from the video we saw earlier. And thinking of the working man, I want to sing a song on that same line called The Hard Working Man. And before I sing it, though, I want to remind you all that our next show, in our pastor's corner, we're going to have Jimmy Wilburn Hall as our guest on that. And I understand that he has even signed up to sing a song. And so we're going to leave you with this song right here. And until we see you again, may God bless you. What has become of the working man with honest sweat on his brow? Is the nation that raised him to build it gonna turn its back on him now? Take away his pride and dignity, give his job to some foreign land? Here's a question that needs a straight answer. What will become of the hard-working man? Better times in old America, we sang the working man blues with such pride. Men who work 40 hours week after week have been let go, pushed off to the side. Now I tell you, nothing is sadder than the soul of a hard-working man with no means to help out his family and nothing to do with his hands. What will become of the working man with honest sweat on his brow? Is the nation that raised him to build it gonna turn its back on him now? Take away his pride and dignity, give his job to some foreign land? Here's a question that needs a straight answer. What will become of the hard-working man?